Hello and welcome to a Smurd P video, and today we are looking at Marvel Legends series X-Men, but not just any X-Men. I have waited for well over a decade for this to happen, ever since we got that, I can't remember if it was Toy Biz or Hasbro. They did a Wolverine and Forge 2-pack, Wolverine and, well, Forge. They were in these colors, and I always hoped that they were going to finish this, and whew, I'm very excited. Very excited with this free pack, celebrating 60 years of X-Men. We have Gambit, we have Psylocke, we finally have what looks like a decent Banshee, and I haven't even opened this pack, in their gold and blue outfits, or yellow and blue, whatever technicality you want to get in. But the important thing is, they're finally here. I'm finally going to complete this team. And I'll tell you what the importance to me we're going back 20 odd years now, when I was a wee 10-year-old boy, and I used to spend time with my dad, and every now and then I would be treated to a comic. And animated X-Men was on BBC, and after that, you know, I would pick up these odd comics, etc., and they were sort of reprinted in various different outlets, because this story actually took place very early 90s, maybe even late 80s, depending on, I'd have to go and check it, but it was the Mer Island saga, and in particular the lead up to that, the Executions storyline. I can't remember the exact story, but basically this whole new team forms after probably about a year of going through the Siege Perilous, and they're all sort of floating around, and they sort of all come together in this moment, and then eventually this leads to the reboot of X-Men with the gold and blue team, etc. But this team I was very, very fond of. One of my first stories that I read, and I absolutely loved it. So that's my excitement. Over in the background, you can see various characters. In particular, it is that 275th issue, which is a classic cover, and fingers crossed we get that Xavier at some point, and a Lady Deathbird. That would be pretty impressive. Now, on the side, just going to adjust my camera, we got this beautiful artwork here, and then on this side, you have the figures all lined up, and then on the back, you get this promo shot, and similar, they seem to be going with this environmentally friendly card board rather than the plastic. They seem to be going with, here's what you get in terms of the figure, here are what they come with, etc. So I'm going to get them open and we can have a closer look. Alright, so here are the free team out of their packaging. And let's take a look at each one individually. So we'll start with Gambit. Bring my light a little bit closer. And he looks very nice. You can see, I'm hoping you can see it, there's like a little twinkle in the eyes, etc. there. But it's not as evident, etc. He has this nice little brush over hair, and he has the classic face mask. And I'll be honest with you, I've never really understood it as that, because he's part of the guild. I can't remember, etc. And then he's got the quite straightforward, beautiful, beautiful blue and gold body, and a nice X belt going on there, which looks great. So, and he does have the little collar piece there as well, which I've only just noticed, and you can sort of move that, etc. So that's pretty nifty. So in terms of articulation, quickly, so his head can go around, he can look up, he can look down, he can look up like that. He's got quite a nice bit of range, which will be good for some of those poses. He has a nice butterfly on the chest piece there. He can do a 360 there. Get up there. You got movement on the ball joint. It's always hard for me to tell. Very stiff. Nice movement on the bicep. And then he does have the double joint on the arms going on there. Then he can do a false little spin there. And then the movement is on the upper bit of the hands, etc. So, in terms of movement here, he has an ab crunch, and then he has movement on the waist, which is very nice. He can do almost the 4 splits, which is very cool. There's a swivel on the thigh, double on the legs, on the legs, spin there on your shin. Yep, I had to think then. He's got a lefty, he's got a righty, he's got an up-C, and he's got a down-C. So he has some really, really nice articulation going on there. So what does he come with? He comes with the backpack. And I remember people were disappointed that he didn't come with a sort of a trench coat. I really cannot remember the trench coat part in terms of the story. It's been a while since I've read that run. But I think people were generally disappointed that he doesn't come with a coat. But the thing with a coat, if they produced a coat for this, and I'm sure if you go to one of the customizers like Cosmic Capes, you can probably get a decent coat for Gambit anyway, probably for a reasonable price without spending a fortune on it. And I feel like that may be a better bet, because then you can just sort of put that over. Whereas if they done this, you could imagine that they would have done the coat, and then you wouldn't get this clear blue and gold sort of arms. And I feel like you may possibly end up being disappointed, should I say. So firstly, so similar to the figure that we got probably it's a good few years ago, and then we got the retro version. You do get the little plastic gimmick like so, which you can stick there, which is pretty decent. And then you get also, I'm just going to quickly do that off camera, you also get these beautiful, I do like this, you get this nice little effect, which we have seen a couple of times over the years, as they did, once again, they did the retro, they did the original release. I can't remember if I kept them both in the end. And then finally you get his bow. And in terms of Gambit releases, so what have we had? So we had if I can get that on there. Firstly, we had back way in, I'm going to say Series 5 of Toy Biz, we had that Gambit. That did me for many years, probably well over a decade, I'm going to say. I had that figure, and I was very satisfied with that figure. And then obviously Hasbro have been sort of rejuvenating the line from what we had before, and we've got some better produced figures, better articulation, etc. But that original Gambit was very, very nice. But it's nice to have this. I'm not entirely sure you're seeing anything new other than the beautiful new outfit. I'm not even sure, I can't say that this is a sculpt that we've seen before, but hey, I'm just happy to have this team completed, and without having to retool anybody. You know, I know some people tried to retool, for example, morph, etc. And if you wanted to, you could probably go and buy this set. I feel like it would be a very expensive way to do this, considering how much this actually is nowadays. But you could buy this figure, get Gambit, and perhaps use that body for a better version of morph that isn't animated. Perhaps, maybe, I'm not sure. Now, this is another figure that I was very excited for. So I've still got my standard Toy Biz Banshee, because that's not had an upgrade. So getting this figure, hopefully that means that we're going to get a classic Banshee to go with our second generation's X-Men, which we've pretty much almost completed, if I remember correctly. So we are pretty much there. So I feel like Banshee, just in these classic colors, is a must now that they've redone this mold. And there was a great customer, Wings Customs on eBay. He used to do this mold all the time, and I always meant to grab it. I kept either missing it or just not having the funds at the time to do it. And I always meant to do that because I love Banshee in this costume. It's one of my favorite Banshee moments, etc. Now, I'm just going to lift this up here. So I think the great thing about this Banshee, so firstly, you got this beautiful fabric piece here, which is great. And then once again, the body looks very nice. And he was a bit sort of beefier with his Irishness, etc. So he does look very nice. Nothing on the back, so you know which side you want to keep on there, etc. So which is very, very cool. So in terms of articulation, I'm just going to quickly do articulation. I'm going to tell you the bit that I'm pretty most excited about. So the head can go all the way around. He can look down. He can look up. He's got some nice little range, especially considering he could be flying. He does have the butterfly there. the arm can go round, but you have to be careful because you've got this fabric piece here. So there is a restraint there unless you pop this bit out. And I've not even tried to do that. So I'm just going to play it carefully for the review. You got a swivel there. He does have a double on the hand, on the bicep stroke lower arm, whatever you want to call it. He does have a turn there. Now the wrist movement is up and down, but just bear in mind you do have these sort of collars here, so you're going to be very, very careful there. Does have the ab crunch, which is very nice. He can do the splits, and he can do that without much worry there. There's a swivel there, but once again, when you start twisting it, etc., be very careful because it's on here, which doesn't move this bit. The movement is there below, but the legs do move, and I expect that's not a problem. So, which is decent. Then you got a lefty, a righty, an upsy, an upsy, and a downsy. So there is some, once again, some nice articulation. The only bit to be careful on, I would say, is definitely the arms. So what does Banshee come with? He comes with a head sculpt, and I'll tell you why I'm happy with this head sculpt in particular, because when we got Siren, they very conveniently seem to have forgotten the most important thing, a scream face. And my camera decides to focus a little bit better. That looks very, very nice. It would have been nice to get some little effects to poke that out, but I feel like that is a very, very nice Banshee head sculpt. So I feel like it's great that we have got them both. Other than that, he comes with, almost losing things. Just trying to find it. It comes with open hands. So always be careful with the pegs, because if you're not careful, you could snap them very easy. So he does come with that, so you can get him into sort of flying pose. And if for those who have had that very long-term classic Banshee from Toy Bit, was it Hasbro may have taken over then? I'm not entirely sure. That is open arm, etc. I may try and bring that figure in before the end of the review. I'm going to have to do it now that I've said it, haven't I? Got to do that because that's the right thing to do. So there is Banshee. So I'm very happy that he has a scream face as well as a thing. I just love the way that the lines up there sort of crinkle up. It looks sort of very angry. And then finally, we have Betsy and what looks like a sort of a new head. We've got the purple hair, etc. And Psylocke probably went through the biggest transition coming out of Siege Perilous, if I remember rightly. Sonoba and was it? Oh goodness, Spiral. They all seem to have got their claws in terms of swapping her body from the British Betsy to Asian Betsy, which was Ravanich, and I could not even say that properly. I've read it in my head so many times, and I probably read it wrong. I probably said it wrong. So there was a big transformation in what it, so she went for a big transformation. She was an assassin when she first came into this body. So it was a big whole learning curve for her. Now, one thing that I haven't actually mentioned is that all these bodies are the new pinless bodies. Now, the one thing that I will say is with this Betsy is the head does look a little bit out of sync with the body, etc. Maybe that's just my personal way that I looked at it. So I've gone right into articulation without even saying I'm doing articulation. She does have the little collar piece, which obviously Sean gets away with because he has this dashing collar, which is great, and I didn't highlight that enough. She can go around like that, 360 up there. There is movement there as well, and she does have a double on the arm, but I would say with this, just be very, very careful how you do that, because it's a very thin joint. You can see how thin that is in there. So just definitely take your time. See, I'm struggling myself, so I'm not even going to carry on with that one for fear that if I put too much pressure on it just to show it in a review, and if I break it, I'll be very, very irritated with myself. She has a nice belt there. The movement is, once again, in the torso, but it's very limited. It is a thin body, so the movement there is very simple. And then she doesn't have anything on the lower piece to, you know, turn around. So that, from my perspective, is probably a little bit disappointing, because you gotta remember, Betsy is a ninja. You know, she wants to be doing ninja-y stuff, etc. Get double there. Sorry, swivel there on the thigh, and then on the leg. Oh, goodness, wow. Yeah, and there is a technique well known to collectors where you can use a hairdryer or some hot water, and you can just release some of the tension on some of these newly formed joints, etc. I was expecting something on the... Yeah, that's not moving. Maybe that's just human error. Got lefty, right, upsy, and downsy, but the articulation is not there in terms of this figure. There we go. So you're not even gonna stand now, are you? Come on. There we go. Right, so what does she come with? She comes with her classic size sword, which is cool, which we've seen before. It makes sense that she's got it now, even with this new mold or body. And then she comes with this a little bit. And if you whiz it around nicely, just sort of flicks on there. Looks very, very awesome. She comes with a couple of little hands, etc. So she has a closed hand, and she has a karate hand, which probably very similar to Power Rangers Lightning Collection. We've seen a lot of those over the last sort of couple of years, especially with the female bodies. The karate chop move. And then finally she has the Psy dagger. I think it's considered a dagger, where she could, you know, if somebody's mind controlled, she usually shoves that in your head, and you feel a wee bit better after that. So, yeah, so very cool. I'm a bit disappointed with the articulation, but hey ho, what are you to do? What are you to do? So I just want to do some quick comparisons. So here is Psylocke with the 90s, well, actually the ninja sort of Psylocke that we know and love from the 90s, etc. So just to see them together, so you can see how different the mold is compared to those, well, just a few years back, etc. So there is that one. Oh, that's just fallen over. Anyway, and then we're going to bring in Gambit. So this is Retro Gambit. I think, I can't remember if I actually sold just a standard Gambit. So I always considered Retro to be sort of, what's the word? Animated, even though they've done like a whole animated line now. And then this is, yeah, so, yeah, okay. Obviously this is comic anyway. So you can just see how nicely together the hair certainly looks different. The head looks a little bit more beefier, and the body looks a little bit shorter, but I could be wrong. And this is the coat that I was talking about. You can see that this is a whole plastic piece. And then if you wanted to take this off, you're stuck with the shoulder, the arms, which is very annoying. Very annoying indeed. And then finally, here is the two Banshees. So you can certainly see the difference in terms of these. Bulky, nice Irish compared to skinny Irish with, well, he's only got one head. But, you know, this has done well for its time. I still like this figure, and I'll like him till I get, well, a new version of this in those colors, which you know is going to happen. It's on the cards, let's be honest. Once you release a figure like this, it's going to happen. So I look forward to that happening, etc. But this is done well, etc. So, and I'm just going to bring in Wolverine just with the team, because we've already got him, etc. And then you can just see how it's starting to shape up. I almost started singing Grease then, because I need a man. My heart is set on this set. Yes. Very, very, that's all I can say. I'm very happy. I've wanted these figures for a long time, so it's nice to finally have them in my collection after all these years. Thank you, Hasbro, for delivering on this. I can't say anything bad about you guys. I know that I slagged Hasbro off as a brand during HasLab, big time fail, Ghost Rider, but that was something different. This is what Hasbro is about, delivering decent figures. Yes, you could argue the price point now is still very high. I mean, I would have expected once upon a time 60 quid for 3 decent figures wouldn't have been unreasonable. You know, now you're looking at another extra 20 quid, and considering that sometimes when these are released singly, what, they're like 25 quid now, it's it is hard to consider staying in the game of collecting. But I've been collecting X-Men Marvel Legends since 2006. That is one line that I will not drop for anything. Obviously I collect my books and Power Rangers Lightning Collection. That is probably another line that I probably will not drop. But everything else is certainly up for grabs. Certainly willing to drop anything else to survive and carry on collecting what I love. Anyway, I've dribbled on and made it about me. Anyway, tell me what you think about these figures. Are these figures that you're getting? What do you think of them? Is this a line that you're happy with? Did you read the Mirror Island Saga? Did you read the Executions before? I'm pretty sure that's not actually what the story is called, but the graphic novel back in the day that I had was called Executions. It was a great read, and every time I look at these figures, I'm really tempted just to go get out that Jim Lee omnibus that I've got up there and just start reading it. Sorry, you can't see that. I'm looking to my right, by the way. If you like my channel, please subscribe. Really appreciate that. Thank you for watching. Really do appreciate you folks. Thank you to everybody that is subbed as well. You know, you guys supporting me means a great deal to me. Look after yourself and embrace geekiness. Take care. Goodbye.